It's like movies have been just like another thing that's so demoralizing for so long where you're like, man, dude, we used to be sick as fuck. Like, what's going on? Like, I don't know. And like, there's just the industries of like, just like Hollywood. And,
there's that writer's
video
strike
games
going on right now too.
Yeah, big thing right now.
Yeah.
For sure.
Well, all these writers are mad because like basically AI can just do their jobs for them.
Well,
Low
the thing
key,
about
all these late night writer staffs or whatever, like
Bro,
they're
that'd
getting
be
mad
crazy.
because it's like their shit basically already sounds like it's written by Chat GPT.
Well,
Right.
it's because I was talking to my coworker about this, and it's because a lot of these writers are just bloggers that just failed upwards into their roles. They're like, I'm a YouTuber, and now I write for BuzzFeed, and now I write for The Late Show. Wow, and it's just like you were never fucking good at writing in the first place, type shit. Like you just knew the right people and knew how to play the game, but you were never good at writing. That's what happens with a lot of this shit. And so again, a lot of these writers are able to get outdone by Chat GPT or by they're not getting paid enough or whatever, but it's like, dude, there's so many of them and they all fucking suck. Like,
okay, I have something we could test out with Chat GPT, right? So if we come up with like who are some of the greatest authors, like arguably we got like Stephen King, for example, is like
Tolkien.
He's like Tolkien.
Tolkien.
Be like,
That's
all right,
Tolkien, Lovecraft,
to go.
Chat GPT, come up with like an original, like Stephen King synopsis, and let me know like. And we can see how it holds up, If they could do the job of a real fucking author, like, I don't know. I'm skeptical.
Yeah, well, I don't know, because it's like all they're really doing is just taking a bunch of shit that's just an amalgamation of like every book ever. It's just like if you got a nerd, like it's just like if you got like a hyper autistic nerd to read every comic book ever made, and they're like, make a brand new comic book, and it's just like, it's super Bat Hulk. Man, Iron, like where it's just a bunch of a little bit of everything all in one.
Well, that's a problem if you're derivative. That's the thing, is that all these writers are already so derivative. They're already so formulaic. I mean, look at something like, say, Velma. It's like, that show was horrible.
Oh, man.
Horrible writing. And it's all like, oh, we're being meta so we can play with these tropes. And it's like, we are allowed to do the tropes if it's meta. It's like, no, dude, you can't do bad writing tropes, period. Even if you're being meta, like, it doesn't work that way. And it's like, the fact that something like that got animated as well as it was, because it did look good. It was a good looking show.
It looked great.
And the fact that got greenlit is a problem, bro, because it's like, yo, who the fuck really read this and was like, this is okay. Like, this, it's not, dude.
Yeah.
And I don't know,
I don't even know. There just used to be such a higher standard of quality now. And like, but I think the big problem is there's just a huge culture of like people just hate watch stuff, or they're like, oh my God, Velma sucks. I watched the whole season. It was so bad. And it's like, then why'd you watch the whole season?
There's a lot of
shit
confused about everything with this whole writer's strike, though, because like I have a couple of different things about it. It's like first and foremost, when it comes to writing in general, lately I've noticed there's like, it seems to be that writers aren't really able to tell the stories that they want to tell, or they're just bad at writing, because it seems like the people that are like in charge is like they want you to write about a certain type of thing. And they want you to say a certain thing,
fit the message in.
Like you might have a dope ass script, and then they start, once it gets, past editing, it's like it's completely different. You know what I'm saying? So it's like there's that. But then isn't there like something about like like the whole payment? Like that's the whole thing about it, right? Like they're not getting adequately.
It's a pay strike,
pay strike, So it's like I feel like people should definitely get paid what they're worth, But at the same time, it's like, are you gonna let people write about what they actually want to write about, or like,
well, and it's like. It's like they got to get paid what they're worth, but it's like, here's the thing, like, I mean, when we were talking about all these like late night people, where it's like, Stephen Colbert or like Jimmy Fallon or whoever, there's a few that used to be good. Like, there's a few that can stand on their own. Like, even like I know like whatever, like everybody like hates Bill Maher or whatever, but like even Bill Maher, like he's capable of he has like his own podcast and shit, and it's like he can still like just talk like off the top, and he's not terrible, like or like Conan, like Conan's like actually like a funny guy, just like on his own, because he was a big writer. He wrote for like The Simpsons and stuff back in the day.
Yeah.
And then, but like a lot of these other guys are just puppets, and then they're mad that it's like it takes 12 writers. It's the same as like with like a fucking Ariana Grande song, where like it takes like 12 writers to do what there could be just. But when you compare that to like YouTubers and things that are taking over now, where it's like they don't have a team of writers because they don't need a team of writers because they're just a guy with opinions and they just
they have the
are
organization
themselves.
structure, you know, to make
like they don't have to have a whole team of people making shit for you. It's like,
well, again, too, I mean, like one of my favorite things of like a writer finally getting to do his own thing is fucking I Think You Should Leave, bro.
Yeah.
Like that show is unlike anything else that's out right now because it has a clear voice of a writer, you know, like, and it's obnoxious, it's absurd, and I definitely see why like mainstream shit wouldn't let that fly, but it's, you know, actually giving writers a chance to do something different is super important right now, and I feel like a lot of writers aren't getting to do that.
I think Netflix still seems to be willing to give people a chance on stuff, or like willing to just be a little bit more hands off.
Not animation, unfortunately, dude.
Yeah,
They done
maybe not.
slashed their animation budget. It's fucked, bro. It's so bad.
It sucks.
Do you think that AI is gonna force writers to be better, or do you think it's just gonna make creativity less valuable, like as time goes on?
I think that no matter what AI thinks it can do, I think that good writers will be able to form stuff in a way that AI can't necessarily. A good writers will be able to form original ideas better than AI ever will. All AI can do is regurgitate stuff you feed it, whereas I think writers can come up with new original ideas that are entirely their own. I mean, even if they are derivative, they can, you know, good writers can spin them in their own unique ways.
I still think, there's going to be like a sieve or like a threshold or something where it's like AI is going to get good up to a certain point, maybe like better than your average like entry level or intermediate level person, but then it's like it's going to force the people who truly have like a creative passion about something to really fucking like step up their game and like go at it with everything that they have. Otherwise it's like, you know, you're just gonna
I
get
think
taken
it'll
down.
definitely weed out the crop, you know, of like, because again too, it's like, you know, look at, say again, like BuzzFeed or just all those random, you know, article
BuzzFeed
websites.
News is
RIP,
went bankrupt,
rest in
basically.
piss,
And
bro.
so did Vice. Vice
really?
just went bankrupt too.
RIP, man.
Good
So it's
riddance.
kind of a changing of the guard, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, because those have been so bad for so long, and
So
though
long.
like BuzzFeed listicles, those are the ones. Those things can easily be replaced by AI.
Listicles?
Yeah, you know about listicles?
They call them listicles.
That's what they call them. Like, yeah, they call them. Well, I don't know that that's what BuzzFeed calls them, but that's what people refer to them as. Where it's like top 10 reasons to be pansexual or whatever, and it's like
Like
you
a
know,
list
it's like-
article, right?
Yeah, but it's like,
yeah.
well, that's what was just so big for so long because you know it's a click through thing. So here's number one. You won't believe what I found in my ass.
And
or whatever.
it gives you a little bit of
you know?
dopamine too, just by just going through it. So like that's kind of the appeal of it.
Because they get to have one little picture of like number one in the center of the screen, and then around that they get to have
Fucking
17
40 ads,
different
yeah.
ads.
Right.
The click-through galleries always
The
killed me.
click-through galleries.
It's like they all... Okay, as
But
a
that was
web
the money
designer
train.
too, back in the day, like when I was studying HTML and how to make that shit, I was like, how do you make these like listicle type deals? And I'm like, they all get their own like separate page that's indexed, or at least they used to.
Yep.
And I'm like, how the fuck do you like spend all that development time just to make this bullshit? Like, I don't know.
Dude, it was worth it for them because it was so easy and you could just sell so many ads.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because if you just
ad
put
space.
all your whole article on one page, then someone could just be like, "What are the top 10 movies about?" What? And then like you just scroll down, and you're like, "Here's number one." Okay, fine. Whereas like you have to click through all 10 to get to number one. So that was the move. But yeah, their BuzzFeed News is like their share prices went down to like next to nothing.
Well,
Someone should buy it out. It'd be hilarious.
Again, I think too, just like the I can't even think of like other websites because I don't read that bullshit. But it's like, the amount of like articles that get like flooded onto Twitter and stuff too, and with people just, again, remember we've gone through how many articles for ZUDECAST now, and we're reading them out loud, and we're like, wow, this reads like shit. Who wrote this? And it's like. The amount of those, if AI can knock some of those assholes down, good. Like good, honestly, fucking
Yeah.
good. Because so many people think they have a status as a journalist or something when they just write shitty fucking articles calling Magic the Gathering racist or calling fucking Lord of the Rings racist or something. And it's like, really, dude, it's just an unhinged fucking tirade. And, you know, it's no different than ZUDECAST. Like, you know, like.
That's crazy how AI really is just like a great like leveler like that.
Yeah.
It's like if you can't beat an AI, then fucking sorry, you're just not good enough to like
Get
do your
the
job.
fuck out.
Dude, it's like
a lot of people can't do it.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people can't.
Right. It's not going to be better than the best person at something, but it might be better than the average person.
Yeah.
Because the average person kind of sucks. Well, it's like the scene. Like I saw a meme of from iRobot with Will Smith, where it's like Will Smith is like, he's like yelling at the robot. He's like, a robot can't write a symphony. A robot can't do this.
Yes.
And then the robot's like, can you? And he's like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's like, yeah. I mean, most people can't do all that kind of shit.
No,
but-
robots can do fucking sarcasm though. Pretty
don't
well,
know.
apparently.
and I'm like,
Oh my God! Speaking of robots, you know Trevor Wallace, right? Like the comedian. I saw this crazy video where they had the fucking robot Sophia, like I think it's the like Android autonomous like AI thing.
Okay.
And they were doing like a fake like bachelorette like dating show with it. It's the craziest, most unhinged thing. It's just like shitting on him because it didn't like his sense of humor. Anyway.
damn.
So this is the kind of shit we have to look forward to as humans.
Yeah. It is wild.
It's not just in the professional field anymore. It's in the dating field as well.
man. Dude, it's in everything, and I don't know, like
Imagine getting swerved by an Alexa, bro.
Yeah.